30 kilometers from the fascinating monuments of Hampi lies Hirebenekal, a Stone Age site, its past shrouded in mystery. Hirebenekal is home to hundreds of spectacular megalithic dolmens that were built more than 3,200 years ago. The history of Hirebenekal predates most of the current monuments in Hampi by at least 2,000 years. I visit Hirebenekal to understand the symbolism behind these ancient Stone Age structures. Our journey begins in Hampi, the erstwhile capital of the powerful Vijayanagara Empire. In its heyday, Hampi was a prosperous grand city reaching its zenith at around the 13th century. Hampi, however, has a past that is much older than the Vijayanagara Empire. According to the Hindu epic Ramayana, Hampi was Kishkinda, the spot where Rama and Lakshmana meet Hanuman and his army. Though Hirebenekal is just 10 kilometers from Hampi as the crow flies, we need to take a longer route. We drive from Hampi to Gangavati, the rice bowl city of Karnataka, and onwards towards Hirebenekal. Our journey takes us through beautiful vistas of rocky terrain. We journey along the river Thungabhadra, which has sustained life in this region since the dawn of time. As we arrive at Hirebenekal, there were not many people around. I asked a lone farmer for directions, and he pointed out to the hills in the distance, calling it Moriyar Gudda. As I walked down the path that led to the dolmens, the scene looked straight out of a fairy tale. Lush green fields and chirping birds added to the scenic beauty of this mysterious place. As I reach the base of the hills, I see some signs set up by the Archaeological Survey of India. Hirebenekal is a protected site. The trail uphill is rocky and the midday sun beats down with no respite. All through the climb, beautiful views of rocky terrain unfold. The hills, however, were deserted. Once I got down from the hill, I learned that the villagers avoid the hills during this time because of fear of bears which frequent the area. A fair warning to those planning to visit. After an hour of walking, we come down to a level area on which there are a multitude of small dolmens. We come face to face with these ancient Stone Age structures that lie undisturbed for the last few thousand years. Hirebenekal was a megalithic site that was discovered and excavated by an archaeologist from the University of Dharwad in 1975. Megaliths are large stones that have been put together to construct structures. According to archaeologists, the construction of megaliths happened in the Stone Age, which is the period spanning 8700 BC to 2000 BC. Although the purpose is not completely understood, most archaeologists consider dolmens to be megalithic homes or tombs. So according to them, Hirebenekal is a Stone Age burial site. But that's where a mystery begins. As we reach the top, spectacular views unfold. hundreds of large dolmens come into sight. The rocks that we see are part of the ancient Dharwad Craton and are more than 2 billion years old. You can see the craftsmanship of the ancient people in some of these structures. Big boulders have been sliced into thin slices of rocks. This is not easy, and these rocks are pretty heavy. A mystery begins. Though the dolmens are regarded as burial sites, till date there have been no human bones found here, and in many other dolmens across the world for that matter. The legends surrounding the dolmens also add to the mystery. The locals call the area Morera Tatte. They believe that the Mauryas were an ancient people who built these dolmens. And here the mystery deepens. The locals believe that the Mauryas were a race of dwarfs, short people who possessed superhuman strength. Strength that helped them arrange these stones into these remarkable structures. This is similar to legends in the other parts of the world. A Russian legend talks about how the dolmens found in Russia were built by a race of giants for a race of dwarf people. Most archaeologists think that dolmens were megalithic tombs, places of burial. As I stand in front of these dolmens, to my untrained eye, it's very hard to agree with that thesis. Consider the following points. No human remains have been found here. The dolmens are open. It would have been common knowledge that animals roam these areas, and a chamber that is open is not an ideal fit for burial. Also, there was no need to go to the top of the hill, slice these large rocks, place them on top of each other to create a burial site. They could have just buried the dead at the bottom of the hill in regular graves. Some archaeologists theorize that the dolmens might have been places for burying people who were deemed important in society. But the sheer number of dolmens here makes this claim very questionable. There are hundreds of dolmens. Archaeologists have conservatively dated the age of these dolmens to be around 3,200 years. But dating megalithic monuments is not without controversy. Dolmens are dated by the artifacts found in or near them. And these artifacts are either animal or human bones. But it is still difficult to prove that these remains were the reason for the dolmens to be constructed in the first place. So, what are these dolmens? What are they a symbol of? This is my hypothesis. The dolmens were a symbol of the cycle of birth and death, the transmigration of the soul. They were most likely used as a chamber for meditative contemplation by the ancients to attain samadhi. It is well known in the Indian subcontinent that saints seeking liberation would sit in meditation to go into the samadhi state, a state of oneness with the Supreme Absolute that helps them attain liberation. The larger dolmens were open and could accommodate people in the sitting position. On top of the hill, undisturbed, would have been a commune of seekers who used these structures to enhance their spirituality. The structure of the dolmens symbolized the sacred feminine. It symbolized birth, but the intent of the dolmen was not to be snared into rebirth, but be liberated. The craftsmanship of these ancient people is remarkable. In certain spots, near perfect circular holes have been drilled into these walls. The holes I see are not drilled into all these dolmens. Only a few of these dolmens have these holes drilled into them. This symbolizes the liberation from the cycle of birth and death. In my mind, it probably implies that a practitioner has attained samadhi in that dolmen. Archaeologists have also mentioned urns that were found in the vicinity that were plundered by treasure hunters. What these urns might have contained is anybody's guess. We consider these ancient societies to be primitive. Often, we judge if a society is advanced or primitive based on their technological advancements. People often try to find signs of technological advancements in these spiritual sites. But spiritually advanced groups, be it Vedantin saints, Buddhist monks, Gnostic hermits, all of these groups turned away from the material. They did not gauge their progress by what they could build in the material world. At the top of the hill, a beautiful lake adds to the tranquility of the area. As I sit in the peace and tranquility of Hirebenekal, I again wonder why the mysterious Mauryas came up to the top of this hill. Maybe, as I hypothesized, it was a place of spiritual significance for these people. Maybe it was a place of tremendous spiritual progress for the many who came here thousands of years ago. Or maybe it was just because they wanted to spend eternity soaking in the ethereal beauty of this area. Whatever mysteries the dolmens of Hirebenekal hold is far too deep for us to fathom, let alone solve. The ruins are deserted and not adequately protected. This is an ancient site, and the site itself is a treasure that needs to be preserved. As always, the known is a drop and the unknown is an ocean. Thank you.